Okay, ladies and gentlemen, members and friends, it's that time of the month, and we're having some very minor audio issues here, so please bear with us. We're working it out, but in the meantime, whilst I work out my technical issues here, I want to first of all thank everyone for jumping. Oh, look at these people jumping into the chat nice and early. Betty Petrie, Dov Burns, Dave Cook, all these people jumping in early, which is great. Klaus, Mark, Tim, I can see all these faces and names coming in. I'm just going to drop our other guests in as we go. Right here, here they are. We've got Morsey, we've got Adam. We're all here. Oh, what'd you do? The balloons. Yeah. How'd you do that?
Oh, I actually did that before. I did like this. Oh, and it was just like all these confetti came down, and now it's balloons.
I don't want to see it again. Don't make it happen again.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Alex has got the drams.
You know, actually, those balloons, that very same feature exists when you're on a Teams meeting on Microsoft Teams, and I've been in meetings before where I've gone like, guys,
the jazz hands.
What's going on? And then the balloons go off, and so it's
jazz
hands. Jazz. Anyway, hello everyone. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the Gathering live stream. I'm gonna make that a bit more appropriately sized. Here's your three hosts. These three lads having a dram, talking a bit of nonsense. I'm just going to shrink us down just for a second whilst we introduce what this evening is all about. Welcome to the Gathering. Now, it is Gathering Month, it's September. It's about getting together and sharing the whiskey love. Now, I talked about this at both our Melbourne and Sydney gatherings just very recently. And I want to do a special thanks again to, of course, Adam on the stream, Alex on the stream, who were there helping out at the Melbourne gathering, and of course Susie and Andrew Durbidge, and Murray Hassan, who very much helped out at the Sydney gathering just on the weekend as well. So it's been so fantastic. The gathering started really with Pip Hills and the society members coming together from all around the world and sharing in the whiskey love and having these quarterly tastings that were part of the society's structure from the beginning. The SMWS is not just about the whiskies. It's about the people. It's about the gatherings. It's about the events. It's about the amazing experiences that you get to have that are facilitated by this amazing whiskey. And I also talked about this more at the Sydney event, but really just those what I like to call whiskey epiphany moments that we've had and that everyone has in the society. And I'm going to ask Adam and Alex to contribute on this point. Is there a particular cask that you recall that you go, oh man, I had no idea whiskey could taste like that? Because I know what mine was. And mine was, I've talked about before, I've even written about, was a 125.17 or something. And it was a 6 or 7 year old whiskey from Distillery 125. It was a young 125 unpeated French oak barrel, French oak sherry cask.
Chocolate Coke float?
That's the one. That very whiskey was the one. Thank you, Alex. I was going to say the name wrong, and so I didn't want to say it. But that very whiskey was one of those like, wow, and just proper like holy shit moments. We're all over 18. I'm sorry for the blasphemy, but it's one of those moments where you go, I had no idea whiskey could taste like that. Now, Adam, I think I might know yours as well. Actually, I think I might know yours. Yours is the maybe Harmonious Barbershop.
Well, it's a bit of that and a bit of another one, because Harmonious Barbershop holds a great memory for me because it was one of the first society drams I ever had at Whiskey and Element, and Miranda, who used to work there, served it to me. And it was just before I'd started at the society. You'd hired me, but I was still a few weeks away from my start date. But in all honesty, I don't think I was able to appreciate it fully, and which I realized when I had it again late last year and then earlier this year, at the is it 30th anniversary of Japan branch, 20th anniversary.
30th,
Japan
yeah,
branch,
30th,
yeah. And it was a completely different beast, and it blew me away. So on one hand, it's that, but on the other hand, a few weeks into working for the society, Loud Raves, The Torrent, and The Rain, the 29 or 30-year-old
30s,
Distillery 53, which I believe was just a refill ex-bourbon, old and dignified, absolutely delicious.
I mean, old 53 is something else.
Because that time places you, Adam, because that was the follow-up to Carpe Diem, which was the 30-year-old
which I
53 sherry cask prior.
Yeah. And I always hear about that dram, but
very good.
Yeah, so it's definitely those two for me. Alex?
I agree with you, Matt. I like those stories where it's because I was thinking I've had a lot of good society drams, but I think the one that always sticks in the memory like that was it was when I was thinking, like older is better, or like it should be a bit more complex, and you'd go to the young ones for the fun and vibrant, but you go to something with an age statement or a interesting cask maturation for the complexity. But then it was a tasting by us around 2015, I think, or 14, and it was Poolside Posing in Beverly Hills. It was a 9-year-old Distillery 85. So, like, on the stats, it was, nothing to write home about. But I was like, wow, like, it had so much depth that I was like, young whiskey can do that.
Poolside Posing in Beverly Hills or something it was called. It was an 85.
That was it.
You've got a good memory for that. That's amazing.
Yeah, phenomenal. But probably like Adam, I've got a few, there's the standout ones like everybody remembers 35, Distillery 35, Punch with a Punch.
Punch, that was a 24, 20, 22, 24?
Yeah, I can't remember. 23, 20, something like that. Yep.
Yeah.
And just like, Glen Murray, again, the distillery that people had heard of but weren't like putting it up on some sort of pedestal for distilleries. And then you were like, wow, this just shows that you can make really, really good whiskey. Any distillery can do it. If you get your casking right, your spirit quality right, all the ingredients right, this is what whiskey can be. Why doesn't everyone do this? But yeah, that was a wow. I think it was 35.144, or is that too early in the numbers? But yeah, absolutely excellent.
There's a few people saying, what are you drinking, boys? We're drinking the Gathering box set tonight. We're drinking the Gathering virtual. And Howard Ware says, time to taste. All right, let's not waste any more time. Enough chit-chat, boys.
Yep, I've been on a beer, Howard, so I wasn't so rushed, but I'm with you. I understand where you're coming from. Here we go.
I've poured my beneficence of bees. Is what we're going to start with. I'll just plow through some of these slides real quick, which is what I know people are probably keen to get onto the whiskey.
Who chose this one? This is
who chose this cask? What a mess. The gatherings going on all around the world. There's some of the photos from I think that was Taiwan branch, I think, and you've got over in the UK. There's just gatherings going on all around the world this month.
It's almost like it's a global gathering.
There we go. There's the two key members of Japan branch at the UK gathering just this month. Janelle, your hair's looking lighter than I remember it. And then must be all the sunshine in Edinburgh. But just great to see the gathering really kicking off across the UK with good drams, good music, good times, good whiskey. And of course, Alex co-hosting with me the other night for the Melbourne event. So let's kick off with this one. 59.86 is what we're starting with, folks. Pour that into your glass. The beneficence of bees.
So is it sweet or is it spicy and coastal?
Yes. Well, we were just chatting before, and I think I'm actually agreeing with you, Adam. It's got a very lovely. I think it's just the salinity does it, like a nice salty honey note.
This was an easy pick, guys. I talked about this at the in-person events as well. I got sent a box of samples to pick from, and this one just stood out. It had nice age to it. It was sweet on the nose, but slightly like salted caramel on the palate. It was kind of a little bit industrial smelling, so almost like some about 93s or 18s, kind of a little bit coastal and a little bit sort of like mechanical parts to it. As in, it tasted a little bit mechanical as a whiskey, which I like in a whiskey. Where you can
there's an underrated distillery as well. You know, there's a sort of a number that people sometimes pass over by us, and certainly one that the name of it is not particularly out there in single malt circles.
No, not at all. And there it is. It's not a very sexy looking distillery. It's a very odd distillery though. It doesn't have a mash tun. It uses what's called a mash filter, a very strangely modern way of treating the barley. Very straight looking line arms there. A high tech filter is used instead of a mash tun. That's right. A very high tech mash filter is used. And you can see it's very. I mean, you can tell from the photos. It's not a Strathmill. A Strathisla or a Bowmore. It's very much a workhorse, industrial-looking distillery that doesn't allow visitors. We featured this the other night. There's a photo, literally from the other night, where we were tasting a few goodies from the gathering, which is just great. So,
no, excellent pick, and I think it's one of those ones too where the naming of it is actually quite helpful. I don't know whose bottle you guys destroyed in your promotional material, pouring honey all over it, but it's the right synergy of ingredients to be adding to that.
Well, believe it or not, that bottle came out relatively unscathed. We just put
it did.
Put it under the tap.
Yeah,
Adam and I were actually amazed by how waterproof these paper labels actually are.
Yeah, hot tip, guys.
Great comment from Klaus. Great to see Klaus. 35.279 greeted with a big smile and open arms. That was his turning point whiskey. I love that. Or maybe that's just a really one you've been enjoying. Yours, Dov, was riding a duck bareback up Mount Etna. We all remember the name of that whiskey. That was a one that's come up a few times.
I was going to say, if that was Klaus's eye-opening moment, that feels way too late in society releases for Klaus.
I was going to say, I was literally just thinking that. Dave Cook asks, why doesn't the label of 5986 have your signature, Matt? Well, the reason being is because that signature is my same signature I use for my credit card, Dave, and I don't want you hacking into that in a hurry. So, no, honestly, I just thought that was a bit much. And actually, to be fair, to give a bit of background on some of the labels here, we did try a version with sort of like a drawing of myself on the label, which is sort of like a caricature of myself. There was also another artwork which had a sort of a different sort of parkland sort of vibe to it, like more green and everything. But the green sort of made it look like it was more of a peated whiskey than it was, and we were worried about that. But then the third one did have my signature on it, on the bottom right there in that slight bit of white space. But it just made the whole label a little bit too busy. And we just liked how classy it looked with the gathering and selected by. We were happy with that. I just wanted to keep it nice and clean and enjoyable. Like I said, it's got like that milk, like that Milko brand, those purple Milko brand chocolates. Bit of Milko chocolate, bit of sort of biscuity, like Marie biscuits, bit of salted caramel, beehives, a little bit grassy, and a little bit sort of like modern as well as that old school sort of like I say, mechanical moving parts. It's without the oily or tarry rope. There's no oil, there's no tarry rope, but it's got that sort of moving
It does have
parts.
a nice weight of spirit, though, speaking of oily.
It certainly does.
Which maybe the honey, as well as, sort of conjures up a bit of a by association, but I think it's definitely got lovely mouth coating.
Betty Petrie gets a bit of toffee. That's a good call, Betty. Betty, sorry. I think I called you Betty. Petty Betry, I think I almost said. I'm only one gram in.
Spoonerisms already. I'm already half a gram in.
Spoonerisms. What have we become? What have we become?
I think it's a good pick. Matt, and it's
Thank you.
very different to last year's as well.
Yeah, very different from what Alex picked. It's great having you in the stream, by the way, Alex. And you picked last year's gathering, and I'm very grateful to have picked this year's. So
very interesting though that there is some similarity, I would say. Like there's very different drams, but then spicy and sweet. It's clearly something we both thought was a good call. Notwithstanding this has got those other elements that might bump it into half of it into a different category of our flavour profiles. But then a nice dessert sweetness concept through both of our bottlings, I'd say. Mine was the creme brulee thing. This is the sort of the honey cake tastes. Yeah, there's a really nice cereal note on yours as well, which I always think of sort of that baked goods when it's got really good cereal malt plus some sort of toffee, honey, stewed fruits thing.
I've got to say, I always love that in a whiskey. I wonder what Adam thinks of that, but like it's like that cereal note in a whiskey where you can taste the barley. That for me is just beautiful.
I think I've grown to love that sort of note. I mean, I've got a sweet tooth, but flavor profile is still the oily and coastal and the heavily peated. And that's I think that's why I love this so much, because it genuinely. I mean, I was saying to Alex before, I opened the little sample bottle, had a nose of it right out of the bottle, and it was immediately an oily and coastal, like straight away on the nose. Yeah. It's a fantastic one. It's just evolved so much.
I think definitely as well with time. Time always does, whiskey's a favour because it at least makes them different, if not better. But the honey drops away for me on time with this one. I'd say all the herbaceousness and maybe that mechanical stuff I get way more over time. On first pour, honey. Yeah.
On the palate or the nose?
Mainly the nose. The palate's always a little bit, always got that to a degree, but the nose goes from sweet to more savoury over time, I'd say. I haven't put water in mine either, but I'll probably crack it just to see. I wouldn't say it needs it, but
no, neither would I.
I always do. I'll do it now.
5.6%.
I'll do it now for the sake of it, but I do always do a little crack.
It's a great bottle, available for order right now as well.
It is available, that's right, yes. I'll pop that down here for the moment.
Water brings out pepper and spice. That's my first impression.
Scan.
And
enjoy.
Scan and enjoy.
Obey.
Also, yeah, I mean... oh, God. Obey. Please obey.
I was in the middle of saying something and I looked up because I must have been pouring the water, and you were both doing crazy pointing things. And I was like, is this them doing like trying to tell me something by code? But then it's not much of a code because we're on video. But
yeah, that means everyone can see it as well.
Yeah,
it's an inclusive code.
It is available now. They'll ship out a little bit later than we'd hoped, but they are on their way. So keep an eye out for these on the website. They are available on now, however. Yes. Okay, shall we press on?
Yes.
That was very in unison there, Adam.
We've had a nice and chill time so far.
Oh, what a segue!
Oh, what a segue! That means it's time for chill time.
Chill time.
Now, I'm going to mess with the order a little bit tonight. After this will be the 38, because it makes sense to do these two side by side. Then we'll do 77. But let's do the 227, sorry.
This has got a great nose on it.
Oh, so good.
Now, I wrote about this whiskey in Outturn, actually, which was great, because it was one of those examples of where I was just like, you know what? Don't snooze on whiskies like this.
This is like if a Twinkie didn't taste like pure artificial, like just terrible sugar. This is like if it was I say, a healthy Twinkie.
There is a nice, like, natural custard rather than fake custard thing going on.
It's exactly right.
But also a touch of, like, some really interesting stuff, like almost like a paste, as in like a glue, but not like one of those really acetone glues, like a clag kind of glue. Like a postage stamp glue or something, one of the mildest of the glues.
Dov's been going hard on that R11 we're tasting today. 3 bottles of it. Queenslanders and rum are like 2 peas in a pot, aren't they, really?
I do believe someone made comment of that this morning in the Facebook chat, and Dov swooped in and it was like, well, people enjoy it. Not revealing that him that did it.
Yeah, we'll come to the R11 shortly, shortly, Dov. But this 9.227, I agree with you guys. It's got this lovely, I get like a banana milkshake.
Definitely banana. Definitely
banana milkshake.
Betty's getting a creme brulee on the nose.
With at a soiree even maybe.
Hey, oh.
Ah.
Hey, you.
I'm definitely getting the custard part of the creme brulee.
Yeah.
Like when it's just that sort of
eggy
lukewarm,
egg custard.
cold, yeah,
Definitely would
my
agree.
favorite part.
I just want to do a quick shout out. Mark Teague, aka Whiskey is My Jam. First of all, 2 quick shout outs for him. If you are Launceston based and you want to learn more about whiskey and just have great nights enjoying great spirit with great people,
Move to Melbourne.
Move to Melbourne. Oh, hey, oh.
Got to give Mark a jab. Got to give Mark a jab.
Yeah. Calimera from Athens. Oh,
Galimera
nice.
from Athens.
Oh, sorry. Adam, please.
Galimera, Ioannis, pospas.
Oh, isn't that nice? Good to see.
Sorry, I cut you off for a joke in the middle of saying that Mark does run amazing events up in Launceston.
Well, first of all, get to one of Mark's tastings. They're fantastic. And second of all, he says here that the 9.227 is the Hoff and Hoff featured at the New Sydney Hobart this month. The New Sydney Hotel in Hobart is one of our proud partner bars of the Scotch Malt Whisky Society globally. And they have one of the best ranges of society whiskey on that bar. So make the effort to get to Hobart and taste what they've got on the bar there. Second of all, every month they're doing a half and half with the SMWS, which is now, Mark. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's half a dram of a society whiskey that they've picked and a small glass of Guinness for $15.
Oh,
that's
I think you might actually
value.
Be able to pick a beer as well. I think they've got some beer choices as your other.
Oh, okay. I thought it had to be sort of a Guinness and a dram, but either way, if it's like a pot of beer and a society whiskey for $15. That's insanely good value. So they pick a whiskey each month to go with each beer, and it's just get on it, folks.
Don't quote me on that, everyone. You might be right, Matt. Maybe they just let me get away with it, and I didn't want to Guinness at the time.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of a local.
I do go in there basically every night I'm in town, in a row. It's pretty good there.
No, it's one of those perfect venues. It's a great place to have a few pints. A great place to have dinner as well.
It looks cozy.
It is cozy. It's good pub grub. The fireplace is crackling. The music is roaring. It's a fantastic venue to check out. Oh, here we go.
Or pint of Guinness.
Thanks, Mark.
Half pint.
On the screen right now.
Fantastic.
$15.
I'm going to Tassie.
Go to Tassie. This is the thing. So Guinness or house lager, perfect. You know what the crazy thing is? Like I was watching this video earlier today about. I saw these Londoners in this video complaining about how they've just paid £7.50 for a Guinness. And you're like, so you get a Guinness and a dram in all the way over in Hobart for the same price as what they've paid just for a Guinness. Do not miss out on this. It's well worth it. I really like that. I think it's very aptly juicy oak and vanilla. I think it's in the perfect profile.
It's sort of got that
Definitely.
that oaty oats and like yogurt, like coconut yogurt sort of.
But slightly fermented. Slight like Greek yogurt it's been in the fridge a day too long, but in a good way.
It's got sorry, go on.
No, like that fizzy yogurt in a little bit in the way on the finish, which I like.
It reminds me of exotic probiotic, which is very much the exact moment you're describing.
Yeah. That sort of slightly, it's almost
that
like
tangy
dairy going to umami territory.
Yeah. Keep just a tiny bit of that dram in your glass, folks. If you have a second glass, pour a bit of the 38.38, however you want to say it, into your other glass, which is what I'm going to do here. So we'll use the next whiskey is the 38.38.
Very excited for this one.
I'm very excited for this. I haven't tried this yet.
I'm just going to turn that off just for a second. It's just going to be us for a moment.
Oh, my lord.
Just as I'm in the big window palate cleansing with a beer.
Well, it's the way it goes, mate. It's the way it goes.
It's all this Hoff and Hoff's talk. I was just like, that sounds like a really good idea, so I'm doing it.
That's a top idea, isn't it?
That's right.
This is like blue cheese on the nose. This 38.
It's really weird, isn't it?
What?
It's not what I was ready for.
What?
Whoa.
Every
What? Yeah!
Oh yeah!
It's actually a great call. It's a great call, and all the ones I've had from this distillery are like fruit bombs. Maybe not all of them,
Yeah.
but most of them are just like absolute lowland fruit bomb level. And this is funky.
It's funky compared to the 9, at least. I want to see. I'd love to come back to it and be like, is it actually funky, or is it just funky compared to that 9? Just before I move on, I'm just going to make us a little bit small screen for a second, because I just want to show some of the gorgeous photos from Distillery 9 and the site of which Distillery 38 used to exist. There's the stills at Distillery 9. Sorry, very they kind of look mismatched, as in the wash and the spirit still are completely different shapes, but it produces their very light. And you can see very, very downward facing line arms, which means we've got a spirit that is very light and fluffy, not too much reflux going on there, not too much going back down for reflux. But just look at the surrounds of this distillery. It's just stunning. It's one of those sort of perfect parts of the world. It's just a gorgeous place to be making whiskey.
Imagine dramming and walking in that environment.
Just a hike and a dram in this environment. Just look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not like, how you see the photos like that one right there, and it's like it's been designed to look like that way because we're looking at Orlando Disney Park or something. That's actual. That's actual, and it's like that's what these theme parks base their theme parks on, are things that look like this.
That's a natural stair formation.
Natural stair formation, yeah. In nature, that's what it's called. And then we've got all the it's just a stunning distillery. There's still got some dunnage maturation, which we can see in this photo from the low roof and the max 3 high sort of casking going on here. If you've poured that next dram, we're sharing a bit of it here with we're sort of sharing a side by side of the 9.227 with the 38.38. Just first off by saying, we're not going to see too much more 38 coming through. That we can't possibly. It's a closed distillery. It's not just closed, it's demolished. It's gone. Some great comments coming in. Sorry, too many stairs, lol. Sorry, Dave. Those stairs would wreak havoc for you. I'm sorry. But yes, there's a few stairs around Glen Grant. And what have we got? Hi, Adam, Matt, and all participants. What's really good with the 9s is that they have steady profile. They are soft, balanced, and very well priced, even at old age. Now, that is true, and I've talked about this before. You see 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, 60-year-old spirit coming out of Distillery 9, and they are so good across all of those age statements. I can't think of many other distilleries. I'd ask you guys this. Can you think of any other distilleries? Well, maybe Springbank, maybe Balvenie, but like many other distilleries that have such depth of age statement quality.
No, I mean not really. I mean Ben Riach can be.
Yeah, Ben Riach
up to maybe 45, 50, but I've never. I mean, like you say, these guys have got the 65s and 70s, which is unbelievably rare. And I just think most people don't try it.
Yeah.
Definitely not up to that level, but I've been seeing some really delicious, like 19, 20, and like maybe some 25-year-old distillery 5s come through the last year.
Yeah.
But definitely not in that 40-year-old plus range.
But in saying that, it's like, have you seen many 5-year-old or 10-year-old distillery 5s coming through?
No, not at all.
So I mean, it's just variation is huge.
Yeah.
53 might get close, but I just don't think for commercial reasons they let you get the 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds too many times.
I'm loving this whiskey though, and also I love the fact that we can put a $900 bottle of whiskey into this $99 tasting pack for the gathering, and we can say how good is this to be able to share something like this around.
Actually, how much is the bottle? I might have to buy this bottle.
The 38.38.
Because not only is it delicious on the nose, and I'm about to try it, which may, make my decision for me, but it was distilled 3 days after I was born. So this is a birth year whiskey.
You are
Yeah, pretty close to
officially-
birthday.
Almost a birthday whiskey.
They're hard
I'm
to
older than
find.
25, just FYI at all, though.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah. Is this sorry? But you're a 96, are you? Or
I'm 96, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was born on the 23rd of July, 96. This was distilled on the 26th.
you're not going to get much closer than that ever.
No.
No.
There was, I'm pretty sure the last 38 we had was also a 1996 July distill, but I think it was 27th or 28th of July. So I think we've
Right.
definitely gotten a little bit closer.
Here's a question. We've got a bit of time because we're going pretty well for time tonight. What's the most unique SMWS whiskey that has been tasted by each of you? The most unique.
Oh, hey, Dave.
Oh.
Dave Taylor asks, "What's the most unique?" Unless it's Carolyn Taylor, but I'm going to say it's probably Dave asking, "What's the most unique SMWS whiskey that's been tasted by each of you? The most unique, like the one that made us go, that's a bit weird, or I've never tasted anything like that." I think I know mine, but I want to hear yours first.
Oh.
I'm going to have to think about it, because then I suppose there's also objectively quite weird, and then there's like house style weird. Just
Yeah.
what wasn't I expecting from that distillery code?
Whilst you're thinking about that, I'll go mine. It was not a release that I think we got locally. And maybe we did get a small allocation, but there was a Manickmore, so a 64, that we had a few years ago that was called Red Alert.
Mm.
And it was, I think it was a 13-year-old 64, and no one really paid any attention to it. But you poured it into the glass, and the liquid was like dark pink.
Yes.
And it was matured. I think it was wholly or half and half matured.
Ruby port or something, was it?
Like a port or a Moscatel Hoggy or something.
Oh,
weird.
Moscatel. Yeah, good call.
And
Yeah.
it was like, what is this? And I tasted it, and I've never tasted a flavour like that in whiskey, I think, since.
Mm.
So that would be my probably most unique and strange.
Mine's. I've thought of mine actually, because mine's quite recent-ish. It was sort of 2022, 3. Was a Penderyn by us in a Fino sherry cask. That if you'd given it to me blind, I would have told you hand on heart it was rum.
Yeah.
Which just blows my mind. Of like, you've got clearly a single malt that's been done in quite a rarely used for the total of sherry cask used type of sherry cask, and it ended up tasting like a different spirit. Just really messed with my head.
Yeah.
Which cask was it?
It'll come to me while we're talking.
You're not talking about reverberating resonances.
No, this was a bit after that. This was more like it had something called champagne something. Oh, very recent, like 2022, 23. And we didn't get it locally.
Oh, we didn't get it locally.
Yeah, it was when I was in Queen Street. I remember having it.
By the way, Adam, you share a birthday with Betty Petrie. There you go. No, she's
Very
born
good,
23rd July.
Good
There you
job.
go. Good job. Good bit earlier than you, though. A little bit earlier than you. Maybe by like 1 or 2 years, but who's counting?
Yeah, surely. I reckon, Alex, you've just reminded me, I'm probably going to have to go with, I've got a few contenders, but I remember drinking, it's not Mad as a Box of Frogs, it's the one we last got.
Pretty wacky.
And Millions of Peaches.
Millions of Peaches.
My
I've
lord.
got an open bottle of that right now.
So have I. And it's because I remember the first time I drank it, and I remember the second time I drank it, and I had the same reaction. It was like drinking liquid tinned peach syrup. There we go.
There it is.
I bought a bottle of that because I thought it was stunning.
It was good. Actually, my dad bought a bottle of that. I didn't even buy that one, but he loved it so much, and it's a fantastic one. But I'd say that's probably the most unusual in terms of I would never have expected to taste those flavors in a whiskey.
My other one, Matt, that you'll remember was a little bit of a story for me and you, because it was a 93, a classic rally. And
yes.
The beautiful 93s with that sort of motor oil element. And I read the name, and I should have been tipped off by the name. I don't know that we got that locally either, but it was, I must have picked it up when I was in the UK. It was too much for me. It was like the smell of actual motor oil. I gave you that bottle.
You would I don't. You either gave it to me or you were trying to give it to me, and I can't
Yeah, I
remember
mean-
if I took it or not. But I liked it, and I actually liked it. I liked the fact it was really motor oily, and you were like, I can't drink this, and I thought that was fantastic.
How does it compare to 1980s movie dram? Because for me, that's the most motor oily.
Oh, ridiculously more
This
motor oil
classic
than
rally
that.
one was just pure,
Like a pit stop.
pit
You know,
stop,
being on the track.
You a pit stop, yeah.
I want to try that.
If you can
Well,
find
I
one.
don't know where it ended up, but it'll be at Matt's house or my house, depending on what we were doing. So
I don't think
Just-
I have it. So
Just quickly on this comparison, the 38 and the 9. So I've just finished my 38, and I've gone immediately to nose the 9, and then finish it off in my other glass. The nose on the 9 right after the 38 was, I shit you not, it was like having one of Krishna's chocolate bonbons.
right. Yeah,
It was that level of just like
sweetness.
just a vanilla bean handmade chocolate sort of thing, and then to taste it was like just vanilla custard syrup with a bit like of coconut in there.
agree.
So now
And
I
I
have to get
find the
both
38.
bottles to recreate that.
I think the 38 actually brings a nice the oak bit out of the juicy oak and vanilla, which I wasn't getting a heap of first time round on the 9. I was lots of juicy, lots of vanilla, but now I'm getting lots of pencil box and sort of natural woods, like wouldn't say sandalwood, but just like sort of like freshly
Not
lathed
a
wood.
varnish.
I'm just thinking about the
Okay.
old, not the varnish bit, more just the woodworking shop floor kind of scent of cut wood.
Dog Burns has to find a 1963 March distilled whiskey for his birth year and date. And Dave Cook has to find a November 71. Guys, the only problem with those years is that it's not that it probably won't happen. It might happen. But, God, it's going to hurt. It's absolutely going to hurt the wallet trying to find stuff from 63 and 71. They're both, you're more likely to find 71 at this point.
Dov, I reckon I've seen a 1963, potentially even March, Society Glenfarclas in paper label.
Yeah.
One of the earlier releases of...
Well, there's lots of... No, there were quite a few 63s of 1s and 7s through. So quite a bit... And 4s. So there actually were some 4s distilled in 63, which would be very cool.
Yes.
Although, as long as you're not born between 82 to 85, which is my vintage, then you're fine. Because those were the downturn years and all that stuff got siphoned off into blends or the closure eras for Scotch whisky. And which is the most unique spirit? Whilst we're talking about that, Iona says, I would go for 143. It was a great surprise. We had a 143.2 recently, a dram from Daydreaming, which was
Lord,
fantastic
incredible
whiskey. Fantastic whiskey. And hugely surprisingly good. In fact, Lachlan Watt from Whiskey and Helmet called it the best American single malt he's ever tried, which is... And that bar sees, hundreds of whiskies through the bar a year of that caliber. So, anyway, what a time.
The only other one, Matt, that I'd, which is like an absolute sleeper of a code for us, is Paul John.
Right, it's just so good.
Yeah.
So
And
good.
I've never had a weirder, like, when you just nose the whiskey and you get an immediate single tasting note, like it just jumps out. I think it was .5. I want to say 134.5.
Dreamer's Dram?
Now I'm thinking, was it that one? But it was just Vegemite. It was just 100% Vegemite. Might have been
Vegemite
maybe
glass, yeah.
.3. It was early doors 134.
So one of the peated ones.
I don't even think it was.
Yeah, right.
I think it was just so intense umami, and like the malting was so intense umami that it was immediately, the yeasty mash tun floor of Vegemite. Incredible. That would be my only other call, actually. Yeah.
Around the World and Back, that one we stuck around for a while, but that was a great whiskey. And then the Dreamer's Dram was called, I think it was the .5 or .7.
My only other one, actually, while we're nerding out, because it's a great question. Thanks, Dave. But it brings back all I have to think about it. Do you gents remember, Matt will remember, maybe it's before Adam's time, I think, but like the 71s that were in Gorders, like Sinbad preparing for a journey and things?
I still have one of those. I drank one of them because there were two in a row.
Yes.
And they were both Gorda 71s, and I bought both I drank one, and I think I still have one left.
I think it was like Curious and something, and Sinbad Preparing for a Journey were the two, like sister car. You know, we don't like that term.
God, we had some angry members over those casks.
Oh, they were weird.
We had some truly angry. I remember some Sydney members saying, "Oh, I'm not. I want to return this. I want a refund."
Yeah.
And I was like,
I'll take them.
I'll take them because
Yeah.
They were good though. They were good. Anyway, let's press on. Let's press on.
Yes,
Folks.
sorry, that was good question, Dave. Thanks, Dave. I enjoyed that little romp down memory lane in my own mind. That was
for those who are new to 38s, or maybe just trying one for the first time tonight, as we've been just doing now. It was a distillery that was built across the road from Distillery 9, which is kind of fun that they're both in the same tasting pack and we get to compare. The whole idea was that it was originally called Glen Grant 2, and it was meant to be a plant that was surplus to create a surplus plant to create more demand for the demand of Glen Grant. However, it never tasted the same as Glen Grant as much as they wanted it to, and you can build the same stills in the same location and it come out as a different distillate, which is the whole journey and beauty of whiskey. It's the same as single cask whiskey, as we all see, in that you can have two casks distilled at the same distillery on the same day and matured in the same warehouse next to each other, same cask type from the same wood parcel, that then end up totally different at the end of it. So that's kind of the fun of it, and that you go, there's a whole world out there of great whiskey. But it was during the downturn periods of 83, 91, 98, and 2006 for blended whiskies. They just sort of went, well, that's it. It finally had its final closure, I think, around 2002. This distillery. So yeah, we might see a bit more through, but they weren't distilling much in the 90s and 2000s.
It's also the subject of a lovely song by Robin Lang called Loons is Loons. So if you're drinking these two together, it's Loons is Loons, the world ruined, but the Rothers Loons is buggers. The whiskey pipe was tapped one night and the whole tune gathered round, which is they had a pipe running between the two distilleries, and one night the townsfolk came and tapped it. And the concession they made to stop tapping it was they wouldn't tap it on Sundays because that would be rude. So they just filled twice as much on Saturday.
It's so good.
It's a considerate thing to do.
Oh, 128, yes.
Absolutely.
The best as far as it goes as standard quality and taste. Do not recall any bottle of 128 that was not good. The 128s are amazing.
I find as well they're always a particular confection. That's my one call about 128s.
Yeah.
Every bottle's got a unique confection. Peach lollies, Matters Box of Frogs.
Red Frogs, peach lollies, yeah.
Lovely.
The peach lolly ones, like the Peaches bottling and a few others, are just standout whiskies. I mean, truly phenomenal. Waxy McSherry Face. This is what you would call a whiskey if you are asked it to be crowdfundedly answered. What do you call a whiskey if you were to crowdsource the name as a bit of a sort of a joke to Boaty McBoatface or whatnot? But it's a wonderful fusion of background sherry notes and classic full-bodied waxy Highland distillate. It says that because Distillery 77 is a classically wonderful waxy distillate with a very sexy-looking new visitor centre that I've
look at that deli.
Oh, it's like the David Jones jelly, as you said earlier. It's stunning.
That's right.
I'm going to say that I don't like that.
That's fair. I mean, but it's not really promoting this distillery. It's promoting the Singleton.
True.
And this is one of the 4 distilleries that have been used in the Singleton brand over the years, starting with Arthrusk. But this distillery, which is proudly displayed on the side of this old building, which is the distillery itself, is part of this. Now, we've seen a few Ords through. We've seen a few 77s through, which are usually ex-bourbon and usually an insta-purchase for me. Because they're that style of whiskey I love, which is that spicy and dry, mechanical, very honest distillate, very clean spirit, but also very charismatic. And this is one we've seen now with an extra maturation in a second fill sherry. Hasn't given it a whole lot of sort of sherry colour influence, but a little bit.
Tell you what, it's clinging to the glass though. A lot. It's starting to look like the Black Speech of Mordor over here.
I know what all those words mean, but I am not sure of the connection. I love it.
So 3 years extra maturation in Oloroso.
Yeah, 10 plus
10
3
years
this one.
bourbon. Yeah.
I agree with you, Matt, actually. I fell in love with 77. It was my first ever, that can't be right, I was there before that. Must have been my first ever formal tasting at the Vaults, like rather than just popping in. And remember James, who was venue managing? He put together a little tasting for me, and took me into the little tasting room. And there was I think it was in the 40s, 77.4 something, as in 4.1 to 4.5. And it was Japanese omelettes and Dunkelweissen.
Wow.
And it was just one of those, like, I have to buy this bottle immediately after this tasting moments, where it's like when we see at events where someone's already waving the order form. It was that kind of, I've got to make sure I get this bottle at the end of this thing. But it was, for me, it's defined by, it's always got quite a really savoury malt, like almost like you used it earlier, fermented, almost like a fermented malt, umami malt quality to it.
I've got a few up here, like Getting High on Your Own Supply, and
that was good.
Beautiful Biscuit Bisque.
Yes.
And Admire the Architecture. I can see them right away, which are 3 refill bourbon 77s. I love them.
Is Getting High on Your Own Supply spicy and dry?
Yes.
All 3 were spicy and dry.
That's the thing. I was thinking, I reckon of all the represented profiles, 77 might be the, per capita, the most represented by spicy and dry. Because all the ones I can think of are spicy and dry.
Could be a good call.
This nosing note has evolved into a Samboy barbecue dry chip. Note. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's lovely.
Almost those. Did Samboy have those tomato chips?
Yeah.
Did they have tomato flavor?
Yeah, that's right.
That's Samboy tomato.
Good
tomato
call.
Sauce flavor or something, or tomato flavor or something.
I am liking what the Oloroso is doing to push it into the spicy and sweet.
But it hasn't interfered with it. It hasn't destroyed like that classic oud distillate, that heavy sort of. It's a heavy distillate at all. That's the thing. It's heavy. It's weighty. It's got heft. Look at those wooden fermenters. Oh, come on.
Love it.
Look at that varnish. Oh.
They'd be horrible to clean, but you got to love the look of them.
Just a workhorse.
That's it, Dave.
1838.
Atomic tomato.
Atomic tomato. Thank you. Good call.
That was it.
Is that someone standing out the front, or is that?
Yeah, it is. In fact, I've pinched this photo because I did not take that one. It's a good photo. It is a photo from. I'm pretty sure that's Brendan Pillai from the Single Cask at the front. So hi, Brendan. Thank you for letting me.
Nah, he's not carrying enough stuff. He would have bought more.
Hi, Brendan. One of my favorite Brendan stories ever was he was over at actually I don't know. You know one of those stories where you start telling it, you're like, I don't know if I should tell.
What's that, Brendan? Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Another time. No, but like he was there on he was over in Isla at the same time as I was, and I had a little I think Diageo flew him over. I think they were sort of like they're looking after him, and I had a little Peugeot 306 rental car from Europe Car or something, some manual Peugeot thing that they gave me. No, it was Opel. That's right. It was even worse. And he had an Audi TT rental car, and so it was like SMWS rental car budget versus Diageo rental car budget was very apparent that day. But yeah, so he's a lovely guy. I'm not sure he watches these streams, but thank you for letting me steal your photo, Brendan.
For those that don't know, lovely bar in Singapore. One of the 3 amigos who have the Single Cask bar in Singapore, worth a drop in. I think they've moved as well. They moved out of the Chimes area, and I don't know where they are now, but look them up if you're in Singapore.
I love Chimes.
That's your quota of saying Chimes.
Chimes. Chimes.
Bees.
That is a very good call, Matt. That is Oloroso is such a risk in terms of if you leave it too little, it doesn't have enough of the point of doing it in the first place. If you leave it too long, it overpowers, it kills spirit character. but this is very well integrated Oloroso. It just gives it the bits of Oloroso that you want, the sweeter bits that this would otherwise probably be spicy and dry,
that
without
lift the spirit. That lift
correct. Yeah, correct.
It's funny. It's funny. Like we've talked about that before, about how different cask types and different sort of there's some cask types I won't say actively avoid, but I don't gravitate towards. Is probably a nice way of saying.
Tequila cask.
Well,
I would jump at that.
I just for the record,
Just
I lost a 50-pound bet about tequila casks with one of our staff members in the UK about 5 years ago. But this is well, for instance, ex rum casks and ex Sauternes casks are two that I constantly go, yes, I love them, but I'm really wary of them overwhelming the spirit. So, Matt, who's taking your place for the Christmas cake now? Well, all will be revealed in good time. Dov, there's a lot going on at the moment. There's a lot of machinations behind the scenes happening, but it is true. I am taking on a role in Europe, but this is very exciting.
Matt, you're going to the UK, mate. You're not in Europe anymore.
Oh, this guy.
They had a vote, all right?
Yeah, sorry, you can't say that anymore. Luke Davey just popping in quickly to say g'day from Tokyo, Japan. Hey, Luke. We are sitting in the Society Partner Bar enjoying a few drams on our last night here.
Oh, how good's this? This is what it's about.
This comment right here on the screen. Adam, you can clip this later for socials, but this is what it's about. Look at this.
Absolutely.
This moment of members being around the world enjoying
what a fantastic bar it is. And I know Luke enjoyed with his partner the Society High Tea. Just
the High Tea's at Bar the Society. Yeah.
And it was fantastic. I think Erin is her name from memory. Erin Davies.
Luke, drop some photos if I've missed them, but drop heaps of photos of bottles you're trying over there into Facebook
and just pop in the group. It's
tag us on Instagram and stuff.
And say hi to Koji if he's working at the bar.
Hi, Koji.
Guy. Not you, Matt.
Hi, Koji. Again. I can be cantankerous, can't I? All right, let's move on to R11.19 Jamaican rum, Rumbustious.
Do we have to? Oh no!
Now Alex is actually a huge rum fan. Alex only drinks rum. He doesn't actually like whiskey.
Yeah.
Now this is a rum that's going to just divide and conquer a bit, and we know that, and we're okay with that. So it's a 9-year-old from Distillery 11, which is already old for this rum. Most rum you see out of R11 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years of age. It's just the way that spirit develops, and the younger it is, generally, the more estery and wild and fermenty it is. A bit like Islay whiskey. Young Islay whiskey is very peaty, very smoky, very boggy, damp, mossy. But old Islay whiskey picks up this lovely sort of, sugared complexity and wafts of smoke, and it's delightful. 9 years in continentally aged rum world is positively quite old, actually, especially for this distillery, which will be revealed shortly. But this is 5 years in an ex-bourbon barrel, and then 4 extra years aged. It might be 6 plus 3. I have to check. Sorry, but I think it's 5 or 4, 6 and 3. Into a refill ex-Islay barrel. It says on the final cask there, which is an 5-4. Thank you. I was right the first time.
5-4.
So 5 years ex-bourbon, 4 years. Thank you, Adam. In a refill ex-Islay barrel, and that refill ex-Islay barrel is an ex-Society 29. So an ex-Islay whiskey from the SMWS, which is one of our 20-year-old Distillery 29, which starts with L and isn't Islay. It was a 20-year-old 29 that the barrel was then used to extra mature this rum. So what an amazingly weird spirit.
You could say this is actually a worthy dram to end on.
Oh, for those playing along at home, and he's passed the Durbridge test, I think. I think that doesn't count.
What doesn't count, sorry?
31 drams. That's impressive, but come on, hit that 35. I believe in you both.
You're on the Jura, are you? Are you on Distillery 31 or are you 31?
No,
No,
31
he's-
drams
so
in
31 drams,
Japan.
SMWS drams whilst in Japan.
Pretty impressive. It's pretty
It's well
impressive. I'm not going to lie. Oh, sorry. Last count. Yeah, Aaron and Luke had tried 27, now 31. Sorry, I missed the previous comment to add context to that. Dave says, I love this rum. I bought a bottle at the Perth Gathering event. Yeah, so did Dov.
Fantastic.
So did a few others, it seems. Not Dov at Perth, sorry, but Dov bought a bottle of this as well. It's amazing in a painkiller cocktail. This would be a painkiller. There you go.
I'm a little bit afraid of this.
Of course.
Do you like the
Oh my
nose on it,
Lord.
Alex? Do you like the nose?
So I do. So for the in joke between the three of us and everyone who's ever heard me talk about rum at society events is rum is like not my drink, and it's not the society rums. It's rum. But then I've actually had about 2 or 3 society rums, which I like. This is like not just palatable rum, but like a very nice drink. And it's usually I'm quite poor on the high esters. They just overshadow everything for me in terms of like what I get out of a drink. This is acceptably low enough on the esters that I'm getting underlying lovely flavors. I was
Have
on the
you
nose.
tasted
I haven't
it?
tried it yet. I have not had
So-
it on the palate.
So this reminds me of a mixture between EXP-01 chili cask drink
Yep.
and an Isla whiskey and a little bit of rum. I'm gonna assume you're pointing to it up there. I can't see it from
I'm
here.
pointing to EXP, yeah.
Yeah.
EXP.
But this is insane. I kind of hate that I like this, but I kind of really like this.
Alex, did you like Hot Shots? Do you remember Hot Shots?
I do remember it. I
remember Hot Shots.
I'm trying to struggle. I did enjoy it, Dave. I wouldn't have bought a bottle of. I didn't need a whole bottle of it, but I enjoyed it.
If you remove the fact that it's rum for a second, just remove the fact that you know it's rum, and if you nose and taste this is sort of going to Adam's comment. If you nose and taste this and go, it's rum, I don't like rum, or I'm not.
It's Fido Cast Penderyn. That would be what I would go to.
It's kind of like a weirdly smoky, delightful sort of weird spirit, and I kind of like that.
It's beautifully heavy on the tropicals, which I enjoy in rum. Like it's very pineapple for me on the nose. I haven't gotten brave enough to try the palate yet, but I will. But it's
come on, Alex. Actually, Alex, I'm going to pop you on the screen. There we go.
I'm doing it.
But do it.
That palate is seriously Tabasco-y.
Whew.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like that? That was good.
I mean, what's 67, 68?
67.1%.
I think you're in my head, Adam, because when I just did a little cough then, and you get sort of slightly different aroma coming. My favourite phrase ever, the retronasal effect, when it's in your mouth, but you're smelling it. I get a bit of blue cheese. There's a funk on the back that I'm getting now, but it was all on. I'm smelling it. It's not on the palate, but it's only after I've tasted it.
I'm not getting it on the nose, but I'm getting it on the back palate.
Okay.
For it, like a really I'm not very good at naming blue cheeses. I'm fantastic at eating them, but not naming them. But like
full on Roquefort Papillon or something like this is the good stuff. Blue cheese.
Papillon.
Sure.
I did just put you on the spot there because you already said you weren't good at naming them, and then I just threw a random,
just throw out
unique
names.
name, and they're like, yeah, but as if you know what I'm talking about.
The Rockford File Special.
Yeah.
I was going to say just a not very stinky blue cheese, but like a very subtle one. Because it is like I'm getting a very subtle aftertaste. I like that. How much is that?
I actually
180.
180.
Yeah, that's solid. That is actually solid. The sugar, like I don't know, the cane. We don't know it's cane sugar, but like the sugar note is not too overwhelmingly sweet. Tropicals kick in lovely. There's just not too much ester that I get. There's like depth of flavour that's not being overwhelmed by it, but it's just funky enough that it is a rum. And then the smoke is doing something like, I don't know, it's almost tempering it out, I think, because it's adding a layer of complexity. Yeah.
You know what? This is wild because I just realised I tried this a few weeks ago for the Whisky and Elements Outturn training, and I do not remember having this reaction in the slightest.
No.
There you go.
So this is... I love this, to be honest.
I still get that like Worthy Park sort of banana note on the nose. It's like banana, like grilled banana though, like char grilled banana.
The grilled is a great call because this just smells exactly like when they char pineapple and put it on cocktails to me.
Mm.
So much of that. I'm probably saying things that are also like super basic in the rum world, but I'm learning.
Yes,
I'm learning along with all of you.
I'm probably even less than you, Alex.
Down it with rum, my friend. I got behind. I actually loved a lot of the society gins we did, which gin is. I thought gin was gin, but then we had the gin night, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool the way they're doing the
that gin
different
afternoon was
gins.
lots of fun.
That was
excellent.
Excellent night.
That honestly changed my whole outlook on gin, because it was like, oh, you can actually have gin neat, and it doesn't taste like I want to bang my head against a wall.
Exactly.
That's impressive.
But it goes to the interesting point around what people look for, right? Like I wouldn't say I've had a bad single malt. Everything's just in the preference order, and some are higher than others. But I definitely look for different things in. So, for example, like in bourbons, I don't like them too sweet because that high fructose corn syrupy thing with the corn base is just that's not really what I'm after. Some people love it, go for it. But then that's the beautiful thing about society bottling these other spirits, because you get the range. So I seek out the bees that are the much more Kings County style of lower corn in the mash bill and higher other grains, and away we go. It is the same with rum. It's just that you get used to that. The quintessential flavour of a spirit is this, but then when you get into the society and you get the breadth of it, you go, oh, okay, well, all I need to do then is target my flavour preference a little bit more at that end of the spectrum than that end.
I used to be like you, Alex, with saying that single malt. There's always just that spectrum of what's good and what you don't like or whatever, and there's not really any that are truly bad. I'll make two exceptions to that, but one was a few years ago, which I went to a tasting in New South Wales somewhere, and there was a local distiller there. I won't name who, and I got passed this glass of whiskey from that distiller, and he said, "No, what do you think?" And I didn't realize at the time that he was the distiller of that product. I just sort of went, oh, cool, someone passing me a whiskey. And,
free whiskey, great.
My immediate feedback after nosing it was, I picked up the glass and I went, I don't want to put that in my mouth. That was my so I was like, I don't want to ingest that because it doesn't smell any good.
Yeah.
And he said, well, that's mine. I made it. I said, congrats, but I'm still not going to drink it.
You did well. I would have gone, well, make it again.
Yes, start again.
That's absolutely true. There are definitely, and also objectively, there is no better single malt than Fettercan, and we all know that universal truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, we forgot to say that Alex Moores is actually the de facto president of the Fettercan Society of the World, and he's basically, sort of a de facto ambassador as well, if you like.
That's right. Yeah. I came up with better get a feta, and no one can prove otherwise.
Actually, I had a member in Sydney recently say to me that he still reckons that Fettercan's one of the best single malts in the world, and I said, "Are you pulling my leg? Are you like taking the piss here?" And he said, "No, I really love it." I said, "You've either had too many good society expressions of it, or you're pulling my leg." I'm sorry.
Yeah. Or you're very, very new to whiskey, and you've had a Fettercan and no other whiskey. No, Fettercan's great. Stop ragging on Fettercan, whoever that was. Or you,
no, he loved it. I'm the one ragging on it.
Yeah, good on him. Leave him alone. Fettercan's the best.
Dave says he can't do gin. He's not a gin drinker at all.
Okay, Dave, can I just in the chat, but I've always been curious about this question. Does that mean that you actually just can't drink gin, like you don't like it and you wouldn't have it in a drink, or you don't see the point of it because you don't do the sensory, it's just gin is gin? Because I've talked to a lot of people who thought, well, why would you bottle, single cask gins? Because gin is just gin. Gin goes in a gin and tonic. Gin's not whiskey with the depth of the flavour and whatever. But stop doing that. Everyone can see you.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, I don't know why that was.
They're all having a go
in
now.
The office again.
Only reason Alex likes Story 94 is because his face is on one of them.
This one.
Oh
yeah, boy.
Did you pull that out of your emergency holster on your belt?
Are you a Fettercan or a Fettercard, Adam? Drink it.
Yeah, it sounds like
enjoy
you're
it.
accounting. Yeah.
Hey, I've got my open bottle of Soiree. Don't you worry.
Tasty.
All right,
I'm
folks.
going back to yours actually, Matt. If anyone's got anything left in the glass, I would say that beneficent. Speaking of gathering bottles and that little shameless plug of last year's
Go back
idea.
around to it. Yeah.
It's very much the honey's back. It had kind of dipped away for me with time, and now I think it's actually done. It's a full 360 with that. It's
Actually,
very sweet.
Also, do you have anything left of that Waxy McSherry face, the 77?
Yes.
Holy shit! How much has that changed?
Whew. The sweetness is going.
Yeah. That's changed a lot from my glass anyway.
That's actually much more what I expect in Oloroso. That slightly dirty, more savoury sherry than a PX or something. Yeah,
less sweet and more dirty all of a sudden. That's good. That's good.
I like it more now.
I'm a fan of the empty chill time glass, personally, because that just feels like a warm vanilla hug.
I've got some of that left. I'm going to go back to that.
Vanilla hug. Are you trying to name bottles at this point, Adam? What's going on? Is that a bottle name? Warm vanilla hug?
It is actually just vanilla ice cream.
Give
now.
it a couple of years. I've
got that much left.
Hey,
vanilla
I've
ice
already
cream.
named the bottle.
You have actually named it. You have indeed. Wait, which one did you name? Which one did you call it?
Alex just pulled it up. Soiree with.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That is true. Yes, you were involved in naming that.
I like that chill time a lot.
Yeah, that chill times.
I might get a bottle of that.
I was just thinking the same thing. 179. Come on.
Also, I said an outturn. Yeah, 179 for.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
All right. Well,
come on. I mean, I did say to when we were when I wrote this, I wrote about this particular whiskey in Outturn, and I even said it's not a sexy whiskey. It's not a superstar code with a first fill Oloroso, blah blah blah. But it doesn't matter. It's just got fantastic spirit and balance.
It tastes
and
good. That's all
delightful
that
spirit.
matters.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. No, that does well with time.
Now, at the end of each tasting, I like to show. We always use the virtual. We have been using the virtual as a means to sort of sneak peek the cover of the next Outturn, which we're going to do right now as well. Good timing because we're only discussing today. But here we go. It's where does whiskey transport you? Embracing the poetry of the dram and discovering the power of flavour this month reflects our creative muscles. We're not going to give any more away about October Outturn just yet, but you can see. There it is in all its glory. It is coming through, we promise. But in the meantime, the Gathering Outturn is, of course, what we're focusing on with all the goodies from the Gathering, the 59.86, along with everything else in September Outturn. And we've loved sharing it around the country. So thank you for everyone who's come out to the events. They've both Sydney and Melbourne sold out, which is great. And I'm sure there's others.
We've got Canberra coming up in October and Queensland coming up in October. And also, if you are in Queensland and you haven't bought your ticket to the Savile Row Partner Bar launch, which is also a gathering event, you should do that because it's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
I'll be down there. Scott will be down there.
Yeah.
Do it. What are you doing? Do it now.
What are you doing? Come on.
Stop watching this and go and do it.
Get on the website.
It's a Friday night society party.
Get on the website.
Oh, I can do this time.
In the valley.
I know what's happening.
Jump on and grab your tickets because you don't want to miss out on the on what's going on there. I've had some messages through from people that I've only just spotted about some technical issues with this stream as well. Maybe a few of us are experiencing some technical issues. I'm not sure. Sorry. I will get around to that.
Mark Teague's going to be at Savile Row. Come on.
There you go.
Teague, it's the night before Whiskey, I think. So it's Adam will be there. Adam will be there.
I'm pretty sure we had a discussion about this last week when Mark was up in Melbourne. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, he'll definitely be there. I'll be there.
Yeah, he will be.
It's going to be a fantastic time, and then join us at Whiskey the day after.
Thanks for tuning in, Klaus. Awesome to hear from you, mate.
Awesome.
Really good.
See you soon, Klaus. Looking forward to catching up. And thank you for your well wishes earlier, the other day, I should say. And we'll see you. I'll see you in Europe. These lads will see you around as well. And I think that's all of us. I think that's all we've got for tonight, folks. I hope you've
One
enjoyed
final plug.
Oh, sorry.
One final plug. If you haven't already, jump onto the Facebook group and share your gathering moment with us.
Yeah.
A time that you remember you gathered with friends and enjoyed a good dram, and you could win one of 3 golden tickets to our end of year party in your state.
Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose.
You post a photo on social media and you win. Like, think about that.
And tell us about your gathering experience. You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, more than just a photo.
That too. But,
Meta will then have your data, but like, do it anyway. Go for it. Win a ticket. Let's go.
Exactly.
Thank you, Betty, for that lovely comment. Betty, this is the first virtual we've done in a while that hasn't had a peated whiskey, so I was wondering how you'd go with this. I know you're a huge peat fan, but I'm glad you've enjoyed these flavors, and thank you for the well wishes, of course, as well.
And this is Matt's last virtual tasting whilst on Australian soil.
In this context, on Australian soil.
Yes. With that background.
With this background, with this backdrop, and this.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because he might do one from the Australian Embassy in the UK. So, like, it might be Australian soil again. But
yeah. Actually, how fun would that be?
That'd be good.
Literally from the Australian Embassy. Yeah.
Do it. They'll let you do it. I mean, what else are they doing? Like,
true.
It's true.
Klaus, I'll keep an eye out for those photos. Thank you so much. Thank you, and Dave, thank you for the well wishes. They won't be the same, but you know what? They might even be better. They might have someone who's a bit more organised than I am. So you know what? That's fine. Well, there he is. But we're gonna be the virtuals will continue. That it's business
Absolutely.
as usual, and I'll be here from afar. But it's I appreciate the well wishes in the comments, folks. Thank you so much. That's all from me tonight. That's all from you guys. Thank you so much for joining in the Gathering Virtual, and
Thanks,
thank
man.
you for being a part of it all. We'll see you all soon.